Sure.
Hello, my name is Elvira.
And my name is Andrada.
And this is our CAS project. Basically, we have written our own mystery play called the Rosewood Mystery. Our initial intention was to stage this play and perform it at our school, and the funds that we raised we would then donate to a charity of our choice. However, due to unfortunate and unforeseen circumstances, that has not been possible to do. So instead we have decided to do a table read of this play. And Andrada and I will make a donation to the Trevor Project, which is an organization that helps LGBTQ youth in the US. And we encourage you to make a donation as well. So without much further ado, this is the Rosewood Mystery. Enjoy.
The stage lights up with bright, uncomfortable light, like the light produced by fluorescent tubes. The stage is set up with 3 bathroom stalls, made out of cardboard and painted with white. 2 of them are open and 1 is closed. A cleaning lady enters the stage with a bucket and a mop. She puts on headphones and music starts to play across the speakers. She cleans the first toilet and mimes washing the mirrors. This shouldn't take more than 20 seconds. She gets to the second toilet and tries to budge it open with her shoulder, but it is locked. The actor can play this how she wants, but she should show visible annoyance at the locked door and knock on it a couple of times.
Excuse me? Is anyone in there? Hello?
There is no answer from within the stall. The woman sighs with annoyance. She may swear, but not graphically. She takes a small key from her pocket and uses it to open the lock. This shouldn't be easy, but it works. She opens the door and turns back to her bucket. If the bathroom stall has a door, this will be the first time the audience sees Rebecca. She puts her headphones back on as the music crescendos. Just as the music hits its peak, she turns around, sees the body, screams, and drops her headphones. This stops the music, and the cleaning lady should hold her scared position for around 5 seconds, so the audience gets a good look at the body. The light dims. Scene 1. The light turns on. This light should be softer, as it is implied to be day. The same scene as before with the bathroom stalls and the dead body in the same position as before. The actress playing Rebecca should just stay in the stall as the scene changes from prologue to scene 1. Now, there should be at least 3 other people on stage. 2 police officers and a technician stand talking. As the light turns on, the officer should be in quiet conversation with the technician.
The body was found by a cleaning lady, is that right?
Yep, she found her this morning. Weekend cleanup. You know they only clean the bathrooms in the weekend once a month? Any other Friday, she would have been there found by a student Monday morning. Well, of course, they wouldn't have been able to get into the stall, but they would have been able to tell from the stench, probably.
Wait a minute, go back. The door was locked?
You're a smart one. It was locked. From the inside. Mary had to use her house key to open it. You know how they can do that? I used to do that all the time when I went to school.
The bathrooms in my high school didn't have locks.
Moving on, do we have any information about the actual victim?
We do! We were able to find out everything you'll be interested in knowing about this lovely lady right here.
Officer Carter and Officer Blanche exchange looks. Officer Carter is visibly uncomfortable with this speech, while Officer Blanche seems to find it morbidly amusing.
Can we, I think we should, get back to the matter at hand, if you don't mind.
Alrighty, Rooster. Let me just... Let me just find our little lady here. Here she is, Rebecca Rosewood. Age 17, senior student right here at Kinsey High. Let me see. You don't need to know the measurements. All right, here we go. She's a student right here and attended the after-school activity band. She played the cello. She was very good, apparently. Real scholarship material.
Jameson, nothing fills my heart with more joy than academically skilled youngsters with bright futures, but will you please tell me what killed our little proficient cello player? Because unless her cello fell on her head, I don't see how this is relevant.
Well, you have the right idea. Right now, the working hypothesis is blunt force trauma. See this dark spot right here? That's dried blood.
Officer Carter takes a large step back from the body and should look a little queasy. Officer Blanche remains unfazed.
So what you're telling me is that she started gushing blood from her brain and with her last burst of strength decided to lock the door?
Excellent hypothesis, Blanche. However, you might want to observe this cloth right here. Her head was propped up on this cloth, resting right there in the toilet paper dispenser.
Someone wrapped her head in a cloth.
Indeed they did, like a little pig in a blanket. And even more interesting, dear Blanche.
Officer Blanche, or just Blanche, Jameson.
This cloth is from the school's science lab.
So the killer went and got a cloth from the science lab to, what, stop the bleeding?
It would seem so, Blanchy. It would indeed.
Carter, have them check the security footage of the science lab and we have our killer.
Uh-huh, Blanche. That wouldn't work. There are no security cameras on the second floor.
Officer Blanche looks disgusted, but lets it pass.
But that makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, when did she die?
We think the time of death was between 1741 and 1930 yesterday afternoon.
1741, that's very specific, Jameson.
It is very specific, Blanche, you're right. But it's also the time when Rebecca entered the bathroom.
Right, the security footage would have timestamps. Well, thank you, Jameson, for all your input.
The technician nods and says something about getting Rebecca's blood type and leaves stage. Detective Carter and Blanche are alone. Blanche looks at Carter, who isn't looking too well, with a mocking, slightly exasperated expression.
Well, if you have to throw up, Carter, this is the place to do it.
Very funny. It's just if I knew Jameson was going to have to shove an open head wound into my face, I wouldn't have had that extra croissant this morning.
We both know that's a lie, Carter. Looking at open head wounds at 8:30 in the morning is part of the job. Get used to it.
The dummies at the academy didn't have real blood, that's all. I think they used confetti, I think it was.
Officer Blanche squints at Officer Carter with a dismayed look, then looks away and clears her throat, letting this slide because Carter is new.
Okay, Carter. I want you to find out exactly who's in this building between 17 o'clock and 19:30 and bring them down to the station for interrogation.
You coming, Blanche?
Yeah, I'll be right there. I gotta figure out something first. It's been bugging me for a while.
Now isn't the time to figure out what you want to do with your retirement, Blanche.
Oh, so they don't teach you how to look at blood at the police academy, but they teach you to be disrespectful to your superiors.
Ma'am?
Get out of here, Carter. Kids. And who are you, kid? And how did you get locked in there? Rebecca Rosewood. Rosewood, I swear I know that name from somewhere else.
Scene 2.
Of course. Rebecca Rosewood, Rosewood Cosmetics.
Scene 2. The setup has changed from scene 1. The bathroom stalls are now gone and have been replaced with 4 equally spaced desks at the front of the stage. Ideally, we need a spotlight for this part, but it can work fine without it. 3 people are already sitting at the 3 of the desks. As the light turns on, the sound of a door being opened is heard. A voice over the speakers is heard, and Dan is just right in there, miss. A girl enters the stage. The door shuts behind her. She looks at the door and then around the room, taking it all in before she takes a seat at the last unoccupied desk, fiddling nervously. The light on stage is dulled, and a spotlight is shined on Officers Carter and Blanche, who are standing off stage discussing over a notebook. Officer Carter is holding a box of donuts or croissants, and Officer Blanche has a black coffee, which she places on the table before she starts talking.
I did some research yesterday evening. Rosewood Cosmetics is owned by Oliver Rosewood, co-founder of the company. The other co-founder was his brother, Robert, who died in 2001, leaving the whole company in the evidently very capable hands of Oliver Rosewood.
Officer Carter nods with his mouth full of baked goods.
Rosewood married Harriet Thompson in 2002. They had a daughter, Camille, in 2003, got divorced, yada, yada, yada. After Rosewood Cosmetics booked a Marc Jacobs show in 2009, and Emma Stone became a spokesperson of the brand in 2015, it's become a multi-billion-dollar business, according to Wikipedia and my friend Jane. You know Jane? You know the one with the...
Oh, that sounds nice, except, the divorce.
Officer Blanche holds up a finger in a wait gesture.
But the old Rosewood had a stroke in 2016, leaving him with heart troubles and a lame foot. He's announced that his daughter, Rebecca, would take over the business upon her graduation from university.
Wasn't the name of the daughter Camille? Wait, Rebecca Rosewood, like our victim.
Exactly. Rosewood remarried in 2010 to the current Mrs. Rosewood, who brought a daughter from a previous marriage into the mix.
But now Rebecca is dead.
But now Rebecca is dead, and we got to find out who did it. Which you're going to help us to do because you found out who was in the building yesterday.
Right. Get this. Remember how Jameson told us that Rebecca did band?
Cello, right.
Well, as it turns out, band club is the only after-school activity on Friday between 5:40 and 7:30. The only other club is track, which is, well, on the running track, obviously. The band room is on the bottom floor of the main building, which we have totally surveilled. Our only blind spot in that hole, naturally, is the girls' bathroom.
Well, that was easy. We just checked the camera footage, which I assume you already did. We just need a girl entering the bathroom with access to the science lab. We have our murderer, and now we can work backwards towards a motive, and I can be home to watch NBC primetime. Well, don't hold me in suspense, Carter. Who did it?
Well, that's the thing. 4 people entered the bathroom after Rebecca, the remaining members of the band club.
There are only 4 members of the band club?
Yeah, they only have strings and percussion, which kind of sucks. But anyway, all 4 members claim they didn't see anything suspicious upon entering the bathroom.
Well, one of them is lying, obviously. The one with the special access to the science lab.
Well, that's just it. One of them did have special access to the science lab, but so did Rebecca.
So you're saying she went brain mass oozing to get herself a towel from the science lab?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, did you notice a backpack among the evidence we surveilled yesterday?
Officer Blanche shakes her head.
Well, neither did I, which I thought was odd given that Rebecca was a student. So I did some digging, asked around, and turns out Rebecca's backpack is nowhere to be found on school property.
I see where you're going with this build-up, Carter, but maybe the girl just forgot it at home?
But if you look at the security footage, she was wearing a backpack when she entered the bathroom.
Well, why didn't you lead with that?
I wanted to preserve the element of surprise.
So our killer could have used Rebecca's keys to get into the science lab and then stolen her backpack to get rid of the evidence?
Don't ask me. I don't have the mind of a killer.
Clearly. So our killer possibly has Rebecca's backpack. Good work in the investigation, Carter. The delivery needs some work.
The light dims and the actors playing Blanche and Carter go backstage, all around the stage. The light slowly turns on again as they emerge on stage. Carter is no longer holding donuts, but Blanche is still holding her hot coffee. She takes a sip.
Well, don't be shy, Carter. Introduce me.
Well,
You wear reading glasses.
Yes, I wear reading glasses. Well, why is that the thing that you're focusing on right now?
No reason. Do continue.
Okay, so first we have Georgia Holstein, 17 years old.
The spotlight shines on Georgia. She's sitting at the furthest desk to the right. She's a gaunt-looking girl with dark circles under her eyes and what appears to be a permanent scowl on her face. Her arms are crossed across her chest, and her legs are crossed, the upper leg bouncing up and down restlessly. She's the kind of person who values time and likes to use it efficiently. This whole thing is clearly a waste of time, in her opinion.
She was part of the band club, obviously, they all are. But actually, I'm not going to say that every time now. They're all part of the band club. She was also in Rebecca's chemistry class. She entered the bathroom once yesterday at 5:43, right after Rebecca, and left 10 minutes later at 5:53, without Rebecca's company, obviously. She has the key to the science lab.
Clearly a good suspect, but not really a clear motive.
Well, no, but that's why she's here, I suppose.
Please, continue.
Okay, let's see here. This one's a bit of a tongue twister. Tira Skarsgård? Skarsgård? I don't know.
Like the actor?
Sorry, I don't know her.
Never mind, continue.
Okay, she is 18, Swedish transfer student, lives with the principal of the school, actually. About that. Anyway, she and Rebecca were reportedly good friends. She was the last person to enter the bathroom at 9:25 and leaving at 9:33.
The
7:25 and 7:33, excuse me.
The spotlight moves to Thyra, who's sitting at the table next to Georgia. She's wearing her hair in a ponytail and is a tall-looking girl, even as she's sitting. She's wearing sweatpants and a large t-shirt. She isn't looking as uptight as Georgia, rather, she's just surrounded by a general cloud of uneasiness. Her hands are wrapped around her stomach most of the time, but sometimes she'll bring her left hand up to her mouth and bite her nail nervously. She has brought a book with her, which lies untouched on the table in front of her.
And now our little understudy, Camille Rosewood.
Blanche scoffs and Carter ignores her. The spotlight shines on Camille Rosewood. She's a girl of 17 with long, dark golden hair, startling blue eyes, and immaculately applied makeup. She looks much like a film star, a Marilyn Monroe, with loveliness painted on her face in long, careful strokes, not a hair out of place. She conceals anything that might bubble over the surface. She's sitting with her head in her hand, playing with a strand of hair in the other. Her legs are crossed but remain in place. She seems bored, but not as if this interrogation is a waste of her time, but rather like she hates being by herself in locked rooms. It is clear that she would much rather entertain and startle, and that she knows how to enchant an audience. She's wearing a dress, which is just revealing enough that it makes one wonder if that type of dress is appropriate attire for a 17-year-old girl at a police station, and just fancy enough that it makes one realize that one would lose one's job if this question was voiced out loud.
She is, of course, Oliver Rosewood's daughter from his first marriage to Harriet Thompson. She's quite popular, apparently, but her and Rebecca should have had a bit of an icy relationship. I mean, all things considered, that makes sense. I mean, they're stepsisters after all, you know, Cinderella, the Brothers Grimm. My point is, stepsisters never get along. Secondly, her dad left the company to Rebecca, of all people, so that must have stung.
Yeah, must have. Makes one wonder.
And lastly, we have Jamie Kingsley, 18 years old, a star athlete, a runner. She's Camille's friend. She entered the bathroom at 7 and was later joined by Camille at 7:10, who she then left the bathroom with at 7:15.
That's kind of a long time to be in the bathroom for.
Yeah, I guess maybe she had, lady trouble.
That would be a plausible explanation. And you, Carter, you're a big boy. You can use big boy words, can't you? It's a period, Carter, menstruation. Well, those are possible murders. It's a bit glum to have 4 teenage band members as likely perpetrators, but I guess that's what makes the job exciting. I guess you can say, in a way, that there was a kind of lady trouble in the bathroom yesterday, huh?
End of scene 2. Scene 3. This scene is set like in scene 2, 4 tables with the 4 suspects at the front of the stage. Officers Blanche and Carter are standing behind the tables. However, from their manner of conduct and the way the suspects are reacting, it is to be understood that they are in front of the tables, interrogating the girls. They are all wearing the same clothes. This is the same day as before. As the suspects speak during this scene, ideally they should be lit up by a spotlight.
Can you confirm that you were attending the Kinsey High School band club yesterday evening between 5:41 and 7:30 exactly?
Yes, I was. I play the violin if you want to note that down too.
Yes, I was at the band orchestra yesterday between those times.
Yeah, I was. I know it's a bit sad, but my dad insisted, you know.
Yeah, I was. I was there the whole time.
And now, can you tell me your relationship to the victim, Rebecca Rosewood?
Relationship? Not with me. Whatever. We were in the same chemistry class, and then obviously band club. That's my relationship to her.
Rebecca and I were friends. She helped me a lot with my English when I moved here last year. Yeah, we were good friends.
Is this really necessary? Of course, you need to get my answer on paper. My dad's and dear Steppy's marriage certificate isn't enough. All right, she's my sister. Did that answer your question, officer?
We didn't really have one. I mean, of course, she's Camille's stepsister, and Camille and I are good friends. So I saw her in the house a lot, and at school, obviously, like yesterday.
Okay, and now, why did you go to the bathroom yesterday? That might seem like a weird question. And why did you see Rebecca?
Why did I go to the bathroom? Why does anyone go to the bathroom? No, but actually, dear Jamie called me. She had a little accident. She got her period.
I got my period. I didn't have anything for the blood, so I called Camille and she brought me some. I didn't see Rebecca though, and none of the stools were locked.
Well, I had to use the bathroom. That's why I went in. I didn't see anything strange, not at all.
Well, obviously I saw Rebecca. I went right after her. We had a little spat, you see, about chemistry. Not to speak ill of the dead, but Rebecca and I, we weren't exactly friends.
Georgia? Oh no, Rebecca and Georgia didn't get along very well. Never did. In fact,
The
Georgia
spotlight
hated
came
Rebecca.
to me.
Georgia hated Rebecca. Couldn't stand the girl. Now, I don't really get into other people's business. Well, I suppose I didn't get into Rebecca's business, rather specifically. Oh, but I think it was something about
chemistry. The whole thing was about chemistry. You understand? They both needed to get the highest mark to get into. The name always slips my mind. You understand? I can't quite pronounce it, so it's hard to remember the specifics. But it was a very prestigious American school, one of the plant ones, the Ivy League.
And I was the one getting in until 2 days ago. 2 days ago, when that bitch, excuse me, officers, when Rebecca had 3% higher average than me. Officers, we didn't even have another test. Well, I suppose now.
It doesn't even matter now that dear Becky is dead. The opposition has been eradicated, if you will. Oh gosh, it sure doesn't look good for little Georgia, huh?
Well, I mean...
Tell me about Tyra.
Tyra Skarsgård? I mean, she's Swedish, I suppose. She's in my chemistry class and, of course, band club. But I don't really know a lot about her. We're by no means close.
Because she was friends with Rebecca.
Friends? No, I wouldn't say they were friends. I don't think they've been friends for quite some time.
Really now? Would you mind describing to me what has led you to draw that conclusion?
Well, they never talk for one. They used to talk all the time in chemistry. It was infuriating when I was taking notes and I couldn't hear anything over her whispers. And in the hallways, Jesus Christ, always blabbering like a couple of chickens. They were always together, I guess.
But
then this last week or so, I would say they didn't talk anymore. It was really odd. I know this especially because I didn't talk to this whole time. Just thought maybe Tyra's because she was in Circo, who sits right behind me. But then when I had to go fetch a mixer for Mr. Wilson, I saw her in the back sitting next to Tyler Atkinson, of all people. And then in the hallway, Rebecca walked right past Tyler's locker without so much as looking in her direction. It was very odd. Well, shoot. And now I look like I was obsessed with her.
a little bit, yes. You mentioned Mr. Wilson, your chemistry teacher?
Yeah, I've had him for about a year now. He's nice enough, I suppose. Not the most brilliant teacher by any means, but he trusts me because I'm so much more mature and responsible than the other kids causing a ruckus every time he leaves the room.
So it was Mr. Wilson who gave you the key to the chemistry lab.
Yeah, he did. But why is that relevant to the case? Is that because Rebecca also had a key?
Do you still have your key, Georgia?
No, I lost it the other day. It must have fallen out of my bag, which is really odd because I never leave my bag open. Please don't tell Mr. Wilson.
So you lost the key. If you don't mind, there's still a couple things I want to ask you about.
Sure.
Would you mind telling Officer Carter and I the specifics of your conversation with Rebecca?
Yes. I told you about the extra 3% that I guess you would say I confronted her about it, in the bathroom. And I basically, Rebecca spent a lot of time outside class time in the chemistry room doing God knows what. And I basically told her that, I accused her of sleeping with Mr. Wilson for extra credit. So, she basically told me I was a scheming two-timing bitch, and I told her to kill herself.
What was that last part?
I told her to kill herself, okay?
Though it's not the end of the scene, there's a tiny scene break to accentuate the drama. The lights darken a bit.
How long have you known the victim for?
I've known Rebecca for, I think, 7 months now, ever since I moved here from Sweden last summer.
And are you going back to Sweden this summer?
Yeah.
And you and Rebecca were close?
Yeah. She was my best friend.
Best friends? Yeah, sure. She hasn't been in our house since November. And I would know because I have our butler, Anderson, tell us everything that goes on in the house.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't really know. Camilla always says I'm not that observant. She's right. I wouldn't know.
She was my best friend.
And now, Miss Skarsgård, do you have any idea where Rebecca's backpack might be?
Her backpack?
Yes, that's what I said. She had it during the day, and when she entered the bathroom, and now it's gone. You didn't happen to see it in the bathroom, did you?
No. No, like I said, I didn't see anything. I didn't see her back or anything. I didn't.
You sure? Well, all right then. Your dad Camille is the owner and CEO of Rosewood Cosmetics?
You already know the answer, or you wouldn't be asking, I assume. But yes, I'm his only legitimate child.
Legitimate.
Well, you know, Daddy. Or I guess you don't, but let's just say his belt is a lot looser than his purse strings.
You mean is cheap in 2 ways?
Oh, officer, I'm going to use that.
Now, tell me, since you're the legitimate child, I assume you're the one who will be taking over the company.
One quick Google search will tell you that I won't.
And why is that?
Oh, come on. Even Jamie would know where you're going with this. You think I killed my sister so I can take over Rosewood Cosmetics and gain the respect of my father or something? Well, guess what? I obviously wouldn't do that. It's too stupid. If I had killed Rebecca, I simply would have pushed her body into a wad of chemicals at the factory. No body, no crime, right?
Well, that's disturbing.
My point is, I would never kill anyone, let alone my sister, in such an obvious and stupid manner.
So the manner in which this crime was committed is obvious and stupid to you.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't you think so? Her body was left in the bathroom, for crying out loud. What could be more idiotic than that?
Jamie Kingsley.
Yes, officer, that's me.
And you're good friends with Camille Rosewood, is that right?
Yeah, we're good friends.
Why did you say friends like that?
Like what?
Nothing, don't worry about it.
Keep asking her about Camille.
Carter, that's just cruel.
Did I just hear Officer Morning Murder is part of the job, saying that asking a subject about another subject is cruel?
Carter, I'm just concerned for her well-being.
I'm gonna ask you to stop right there, because you actually start to freak me out. Here.
These are surprisingly nice sketches, Carter.
There's no time for compliments, Blanche. Okay, Jamie, tell me more about Camille. How long have you two been friends?
We've been friends for about, I think, 5 years, ever since Camille and Rebecca transferred to Kinsey High.
And when did you become really good friends?
I mean, I guess we've been closer since last year. I spent the summer with Camille at her lake house in France.
Okay, Jamie, do you get good grades in school?
They're all right, I guess. I've never won any prizes or anything, if that's what you mean.
And Camille, how are her grades?
They're good. They're kind of split up, if that makes sense. She's not really good at math or chemistry, but she's really good at English and psychology.
All right. Tell me, Jamie, who do you think killed Rebecca?
Is this really necessary, Carter?
Maybe Georgia. Oh God, I shouldn't have said that. That's terrible. I didn't mean it.
She's clearly protecting someone. There's no one but Camille who could have done this.
What are you doing, Carter?
Jamie looks absolutely devastated, almost at the verge of tears. She stretches and restretches the fabric of her shirt.
I think we better get this over with.
Suddenly, Jamie jumps out of her chair. She looks frightened and messy. The bottom of her shirt hangs in a mess of strings along her thighs.
Officer, wait! You can't arrest Camille!
And why is that, Jamie?
Because I killed Rebecca!
Officer Blanche drops Carter's notebook with a shock, and Officer Carter's smile drops incredibly fast. The lights dim. End of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1. On stage, there is now only one desk in the middle, with Jamie sitting in it. All other items have been cleared off stage. Lights turn on with Jamie and Officer Blanche and Carter in serious discussion. Jamie is sitting down in the middle Interrogation room with detectives on either side of her. Jamie appears fidgety and anxious, looking around the room for the detectives.
I need you to tell us what happened so we can understand the situation. We can help you, Jamie. You're young, you have your life ahead of you. If you can help us, we can help you. How did this happen?
How? Well, Rebecca and I, we were talking about, well, that's not important, but I kind of got mad at her, so I pushed her and she fell and she hit her head on the side of the toilet bowl. And well, there was a lot of blood and I tried to wake her up and apologize, but she passed out. And I suppose she was dead. I never meant that to happen. I swear it was an accident.
She sounds genuine. I really don't think she meant for this to happen.
I think there's something else, something she isn't telling us. I have a feeling she's trying to protect Camille.
Jamie, Camille and you left the bathroom together yesterday. Was she with you when Rebecca died?
Well, yes. No. I pushed Rebecca, and then Camille came into the bathroom, but I already locked the stall, and she didn't see anything. She couldn't have. Camille didn't do anything. I did.
What was the reason for your fight with Rebecca, Jamie?
Well, it was nothing really. She had a photo of me in a compromising position, and she wouldn't delete it when I asked her to.
Did this photo have anything to do with Camille?
No, of course not.
She's getting defensive, so we won't get her to say anything else when she's clammed up like this. I think it's time to talk to our heiress-to-be.
Camille comes in, walking elegantly and taking her sweet time. She sits down, crosses her legs, and puts her bag down.
May I know why I was called in for a second time on a Saturday? I already told you what I know.
Camille, Jamie just confessed to the murder of Rebecca. How does this make you feel?
Oh my God, that's horrible. I would never have thought Jamie was capable of doing something like that.
Okay, drop the act, Camille. You were in the bathroom with Jamie at the time of the murder, which makes you either a criminal or you were aiding and abetting one. You want to maybe try answering that again?
All right, I'll tell you what I know. Get comfy, I suppose. All right, not a lot of people know this, but Jamie and I used to hook up once in a while. It's not a big deal. We live in the 21st century. But Jamie has this super conservative upbringing, so she's been kind of iffy about anyone knowing. Rebecca was the type of person who liked to have the upper hand on situations and stay ahead of everyone beneath her. So once she took a photo of Jamie and I making out on the couch so that she could have blackmail against Jamie, I suppose. I didn't question it too much because, frankly, I couldn't care less. But Jamie was super upset about it. Anyways, cut to yesterday. I noticed Jamie was taking a long time in the bathroom, so I went to check up on her and I found her crying and standing over Rebecca's body. I realized what happened, so I felt the need to help her get her act together.
And why would you do that?
Well, the poor girl's in love with me. The least I could do was help her clean up some blood. I know that Daddy's lawyers couldn't get me sent to jail, so I was simply helping a friend in need. Clearly, it wasn't meant to have gone that far. But what can I say? I guess Jamie can't recognize her own strength sometimes. All I did was put down some towels and help her clean herself up. They were in the laundry room about to be cleaned. Guess they used them in the science lab or something.
Well, what a good friend you are. Glad you decided to tell us what happened in the end. Don't skip town. We might need you to give a statement later.
Whatever.
Camille leaves. Officer Blanche and Carter move upstage to talk.
I'm just saying, that girl did not look like she had a bad bone in her body. I wouldn't have pegged her as the killer in a million years.
Well, you know better than me that in our field sometimes accidents happen and people get hurt, and at least she did the right thing and confessed so Rebecca can have some peace.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Blunt force trauma to the head, though. There's no use dwelling on it. Although it is strange. Sorry.
Gets cut off by her phone ringing. She picks up.
Hi, Jameson. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Are you certain? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jameson. Keep us updated. If anything comes up.
She closes the call. Blanche remains still and unspeaking for a moment, organizing her thoughts while Carter is looking at her expectantly.
Well, that changes things.
Well, what did Jameson say this time to have you so perplexed? Has he discovered a new type of foot fungus, or just had to tell you right away? Man, that guy is weird.
Jameson called about Rebecca's blood work. As it turns out, the cause of death was poison.
Hold on, you're telling me Rebecca was poisoned? What about her head? What about all the blood? Are you sure he's got the right Rebecca? Our Rebecca? This doesn't make any sense.
Apparently it was a slow-acting poison. She probably didn't even realize anything was wrong, just felt a little sick. The blunt force trauma came afterwards.
So you're telling me Jamie poisoned her and then what? Came in the bathroom to finish the job herself while Rebecca was weak?
There's more. The poison was made out of very basic chemicals, commonly found in school chemistry lab equipment for experiments, demonstrations. Harmless alone, but lethal together. Something doesn't add up. Jamie doesn't strike me as someone who would have had the knowledge, or frankly the capabilities, to have made a poison herself. I think we need to talk to her again, see how she reacts.
Carter nods and the detective enters Jamie's interrogation room. As soon as the detectives come in, Jamie's face shoots up expectantly.
Did you come to arrest me?
Jamie, we'd like to ask you a few more questions.
What do you mean? I thought I told you I killed Rebecca. What more could you want?
Jamie, Rebecca was poisoned. Do you know anything about that?
Poisoned? I never poisoned her. Rebecca died when she hit her head on the toilet. I saw that myself.
Blanche retreats and pulls Carter with her, out of earshot of Jamie.
She doesn't seem to have any clue about the poison.
She be bluffing?
Does she look like she thought this through to you?
No, she just looks like a scared kid who messed up.
Exactly. Jamie didn't kill Rebecca. She just ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So that brings us back to square one then.
Let's get the girls back in.
Lights dim. End of scene 1. Scene 2. The scene is set like in scene 3, except with 3 tables. Thyra is placed in the middle, Georgia and Camille to either side. Officer Carter has yet another baked good in his hand. Small time change of an hour or so can be indicated through layers of clothing being removed or hair being tied up.
So, what's our play here? Good cop, bad cop? I did bad cop on Camille. She reminds me of the girls that bullied me in high school.
Actually, I think we should start with Tyra.
Tyra? She seems like she had the least motive. Why would she have killed her best friend?
Former best friend. And remember Rebecca's bag from earlier? The one that Tyra apparently didn't know anything about? Well, I got the school principal to get me the master key to the lockers. And guess what I found in Tyra's locker? Rebecca Rosewood bag, with Rebecca's phone missing.
Why would Tyra steal Rebecca's phone? What isn't she telling us?
That's what I'm hoping to find out.
Tyra looks up at the detectives, somewhat relaxed but expectant.
Hi, Tyra. We have a couple more questions for you.
Okay, sure, but I truly don't know much at all.
Tell me more about yourself, Tyra. What was your relationship with Rebecca?
As I told you before, she was my best friend for a very long time.
But I heard you two had a falling out. What was that about?
Well, it was what's it called? We had opinion differences. She was still my best friend, but ever since she became the heiress with the Rosewood cosmetics, she distanced herself from me.
And obviously this was deeply upsetting thing to hear. Now, tell me, Thyra, did she know you were selling drugs?
What? I don't understand. I'm sorry. I do not know what you're asking.
Yeah, Carter, what are you asking?
You got shifty when you approached when we approached you this morning. We thought you thought we were coming to bust you, didn't you? If I were to search your bag right now, are you telling me we couldn't find anything at all linked to you selling drugs in the school? Rebecca knew, and she wanted to bust you, didn't she? That's why you would have had something to do to shut her up. And you stole her phone so we wouldn't see.
She started it. She was selling when I got here. And when I told her I was struggling with my parents, wanting me to go back to Stockholm, I didn't have enough money to live here by myself. So she helped me. We became partners. It was not much. We only sold easy things, nothing dangerous. When she became heir, she said that she was above that, and she told me to stop because she did not want to be seen with me otherwise. I needed the money, so I told her no, and she cut up all ties to me. I took her phone because she threatened to expose me if I did not stop, and I only wanted to erase the evidence she had. I promise I did not kill her. She was my only friend here. I could never have done such a thing. I'm sorry. I was so stupid. I thought she was just using the bathroom and the door was locked, and I just took her phone and ran away. I'm so sorry.
That's all right, Thyri. We understand why you didn't want to tell us. I don't believe you killed Rebecca, and we're not going to charge you about the drugs.
You won't?
However, we will be keeping a close eye on you, so try to stay out of trouble, kid. We're not going to be so lenient the second time.
Yes,
okay?
yes, I promise. Thank you, officers. Thank you so much. Please catch whoever did this to Rebecca.
Hey, Tyra. There's always a better way. Trust me, you'll get through this.
Tyra nods and leaves the room.
We're left with the vengeful stepsister and the vengeful classmate. Both have a motive. Which one did it?
End of scene 2. Scene 3. Another desk is removed from the stage. Now there are 2 equally spaced. Camille and Georgia are already sitting down. Camille looks disinterested and Georgia is sitting properly and carefully awaiting questioning. Both girls have their bags next to them. Officer Blanche is sitting behind Georgia, Officer Carter behind Camille.
When was the last time you saw Rebecca during the day yesterday?
Chemistry class.
Chemistry class?
And when was your last interaction with her?
She asked me when I was going home and complained about how I don't care about my future and all I do is talk about lipstick. She was acting all high and mighty as if she knew better just because she had different interests.
I think the last thing we talked about was who was going to lock up, since we both stayed later to work on our extra credit project.
Right. Lock up since you both had the keys to the lab. The keys that you happened to lose.
Yes, that's correct. I don't know how I managed. I'm usually very organized.
So you wouldn't have a problem with us searching your person?
Not at all. Be my guest.
Do you mind if I take a look in your coat?
Yeah, but I don't think you'll find any.
Carter reaches into her pocket as she's talking and takes out a little steel key.
What the fuck? Swear I don't see how this has anything to do with the case.
Right. So you and Rebecca were alone for a while in chemistry class, working on this extra credit?
I guess you can say that. We shared the same classroom, but I didn't interact with her exactly.
No, I don't think I saw her after I left the class with the rest of the students. I had no interest in interacting with either of those nerds. I hear it rubs off.
Blanche pulls Carter aside out of earshot of the girls.
Really don't like that girl.
Georgia would have had the perfect occasion to have administered the poison to Rebecca during this period. With Rebecca gone, she can go to her dream college. Not to mention she lost the key to the chemistry lab, where she could easily have made the poison herself. Out of everyone, she would be the most capable and have had the easiest opportunity.
It all adds up perfectly.
Almost too perfectly. Let me see that for a sec.
Sorry, I get fidgety when I'm thinking. Is that lipstick?
Blanche and Carter examine the key, which has a lipstick mark smudged on it.
Now, Don't get me wrong, but Georgia doesn't exactly seem like the type to wear crimson red lipstick around school.
So you think she was set up? But Camille.
Mill.
Makeup? Yeah, I suppose you could call it my passion. I'm pretty good at it, not to brag. But Daddy said he'd let me have my own company someday, online. Of course, I don't see how this is relevant, but I'm always willing to give you some tips. God knows you need it. Just because you're a cop doesn't mean you have to completely let yourself go, you know?
Yeah, thanks. That's nice of you. But, tell me more about this makeup line of yours. You use the past tense. Is it not happening anymore?
Officer Carter looks questioningly at Blanche.
Trust me.
Well, I started working on my own personalized lipstick line. Things were going great, and Daddy was super proud of me. But then I really got into it, and my grades started dropping, so he told me if I make one mistake at the firm, he'll stop funding my project. And, well, I did. I wasn't paying attention to the product control, and the lids weren't secure enough. They'd fall off from time to time. What does it matter? So Daddy decided to cut me off from the production and replace me with someone more responsible, I guess.
That person being, that more responsible person, of course, being Rebecca.
Yep. Dear old Becky, with perfect grades and perfect organization and perfect response to any question that she was asked. She wasn't even into makeup. That was my thing.
So your dad cut off your makeup line and left you in the dust. Replaced you with Rebecca, who is better in every way, just because you messed up one little thing. That couldn't have felt good.
It didn't, but I have to deal with it. That's life, I guess.
It's understandable to be mad. Anyone would be. Ever since Rebecca came into your life, nothing good has happened. Thanks to her mom, your parents divorced, didn't they?
And that little bitch made it happen. I begged her to tell her mom to back off. My parents were working things out, but she and her gold-digging mother needed money for Rebecca's expensive Ivy League college, so what better way than to drive a wedge between my parents and have her mom slither her way in there.
You wanted revenge. You wanted her to feel the pain that she caused you.
Yes! I mean, no, I didn't kill Rebecca.
Camille, that shade of lipstick you're wearing is your own brand, isn't it? And judging from the faulty lid, I'd say it's smudged somewhere in your bag, too. The same place you put the key to the science lab that you stole from Georgia. You're smart, I'll give you that. But if I were to give the lipstick smudge on this key to our forensic team, together with a swab from your lipstick, are you telling me the formulas wouldn't match perfectly? You wanted revenge, and you took it. You felt cheated. It was only fair that you took back what was yours. After all, it was rightfully yours.
She didn't deserve it. She didn't deserve any of it. Just because she could do a couple calculations doesn't mean she knew everything about what it takes to be in makeup. She waltzed into my life and stole everything. What was I gonna do, stand by and watch it happen? She had it coming. I gave her plenty of opportunities to stand down, but what'd she do? She laughed in my face and told me I was being a priss. Everyone laughed in my face. I deserved revenge, okay? I was lenient. She didn't feel any pain. She just drifted off to a long, peaceful sleep like the princess everyone thought she was. Too good for this world, that's what she was. So I simply removed her from it.
Okay, I think we've heard enough. Thank you. Camille, you're under arrest for the murder of Rebecca Rosewood.
Finn.
Yay!
Good job, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for
Thank you,
participating.
guys.
Sorry for a little bit of technical issues,
Yeah.
but we hope you enjoyed it. Great.